What's good, YouTube? It's Little Derek.comics back with another video, and today I'm going to show you guys another character rig that I've done. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and break down this Cyborg character rig that I've done. So just like the Robin one, I'm gonna go piece by piece and just kind of explain what all the Cyborg can do. If I go in and say I pick say one of the arms, right? And I go to my plastic tool, wherever it is. Yeah, here we go. If I go to animate, then I can, move the leg, and then I can, bend it inward and all that. And it's a little rubbery. Again, I can fix that later. There's things I can do, but this is just the base thing that I've gotten. Unlike Robin, where like the head, like the leg is connected to the foot has its own animation. So like I can move it independently of the leg, and I feel like that feels a bit more robotic. And then I can, bend it in, kind of like I could Robin's. I could also like bend the outside of it a little bit. And there's more that I could add or take away from it, but I just thought that would be cool. So, yeah, that's the leg and the foot. And let's talk about the torso. So I'm gonna go to torso mesh, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So yeah, just like Robin, you can see when I when I shake them around, the torso, the arms follow the torso, the neck, everything kind of goes with the torso. They stay in place, but if I move this part, it kind of moves everything else, and then I can kind of have him lean, and I can also extend him back up. It gets a little wonky in certain places, but it's not the most complex character model, and I think that's fine that it's not. Yeah, also he can kind of shrug his shoulders a bit. So if I wanted to like maybe animate him, say stretching or something, or probably even maybe have him exhaling a little bit, that could probably be good for that too. I could I could move his little groin, I guess, inward. I could also do that for Robin. I don't think I showed that last week, but it's something I could do. It's not really that useful, but so yeah, that's the torso. Let's go to the arm. So I'm not really gonna replicate both arms. I'm just gonna show you one. But yeah, he can kind of swing his arm in. I might need to change the rotation so that it stops like right here, because you can kind of see where it stops right here. And I guess I'm not supposed to show you all the ins and outs of it, because that'll kind of take away from the magic. The magician isn't supposed to show his tricks, but you know, yeah, I can move the arm around as much as I want, and then I can like bend it. Well, shoot, I can bend it inward. And again, it's a little wonky right here. That looks halfway decent, but I gotta clean it up so it's not as rubbery. But I can swing his arm in and out and everything like that. And I can also move the fist a bit. It's all wonky, like I said, but for a simple animation, this is pretty good. Let's talk about the neck right quick. It's very simple, and just like Robin, his neck can animate, but like I like it because it's kind of got this sassy head movement to it. I think that's really cool. And then he can even like, like what, like, oh man. So I think the neck animation is really cool. It's got like a lot of character to it. I don't know why. No, I know why I added these 2 points. So, the two little anchor points right here kind of keep his neck from going every which way. Like, I'm gonna see if I can delete them right quick. So if I delete these, hopefully it doesn't crash while I'm doing this. Whoops. And let me see if I can go back to animate. Yeah, you see how like without the little anchor points, it kind of goes everywhere. So yeah, with those anchor points, it kind of stays in position a little bit more. It's still slightly rubbery, but it kind of fits a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, that's the neck, and let's go to the head. So the head, or no, I didn't do a mesh for the head like the rest of the bodies, because I still don't really know how I would animate the face with it like the other ones. But you know, his head is connected to the neck, so anytime the neck moves, it'll control the head. And same thing with the torso. Matter of fact, before I finish it off and show the facial expressions, let me show like the ins and outs. So here's the like complex parts of it and stuff like that. I don't remember if I showed this with like Robin, but you know, you go here and the torso is connected to like the neck, which is connected to the head and the eyebrows and the pupils. And you know, you could also see that the torso is connected to the arms here, and you know, they're also connected to the legs as they go down, and like the legs are connected to the shoes and all that. This is basically the little parenting tree, I guess I'll call it. So if you want your animation to be a little bit more complex, you can do parenting. You guys get a general idea, and I think the Robin one will be a good one to go back and look at, so you can get a good idea on how I do these. But the last things I'm going to talk about are like the eyes and the eyebrows. So if I go in and zoom into the eye, I can also animate that. So unlike Robin's, Cyborg actually has an actual eyeball. I didn't have his right side animated for the fact that, you know, it's a robotic eye. It doesn't really need to move. But, you know, I can kind of make his eye widen. I can make it lower and things like that. You know, it's a little bit weird. But yeah, I can buck his eye a little bit. I can make him kind of squint. Let me see. I mean, I don't really see the need for that one. But yeah, I could kind of, you know, just play around a little bit. So there's that. Also, I can move the pupil. So the pupil doesn't have a mesh like the eye, but I can make him look around, look up. And, you know, it's technically over the eye, so it can extend past the eye, which isn't a good thing. But, you know, he'll look around, and that highlight on the eye will kind of follow it around, if you can see that. So let me control Z. And what's cool about that is, you know, I can have him maybe looking downward, and then I can get this mesh. And I can kind of have him looking a little bit like sad. You see how the eyebrow kind of, or not the eyebrow, but you know, the eyes kind of come down and he's a little bit more sad. I can maybe even squint it a bit, almost like he's about to cry. So yeah, there's some things that I can do with that. And then on top of that, you have the eyebrows. So again, with Robin, he didn't really have eyebrows. He more so had like this, he had the mask, and the mask was, it counted for both his eyes and his eyebrows. But Cyborg actually has functioning eyebrows. He can raise one. And the cool thing about this is the original Teen Titans Cyborg had two normal eyebrows. I didn't like that both of his eyebrows were normal human eyebrows, because one, his right side or his left side is metallic, so it wouldn't make sense. But this one is like a blue kind of highlight. It fits with his kind of almost chrome metallic side, and it almost looks like a digital eyebrow, and it matches his organic eyebrow. And I think that's pretty cool, and that's one of the artistic liberties I took with Cyborg. So, you know, I can make him kind of tense up, a little bit mad, and then I can also, you know, bring these eyebrows down and make him extra aggressive. And if I go back to the eye, and hopefully the software doesn't crash on me while I do it, or I might end the video abruptly. But if I go back to my plastic tool, I can make that eye kind of widen a little bit and have him like extra PO'd. So yeah, and he can be very aggressive looking. And that's not all I can really do with the eyebrows. So yeah, I can kind of, like I said, I can tilt them down a bit, and he can look a little bit more sad, especially if I do what I did earlier and just kind of lower the pupil and the actual eyelids. You know, now he looks super sad. I think that's amazing. Even his robotic side looks sad. And now it's back to like a more robotic look. He can kind of, like I said, raise one eyebrow, and then I can even you know, kind of make the eyebrows come down a little bit to make him extra angry. You know, it's got a little bit of range to it. So that's pretty much all I've got here with the Cyborg rig. It was very fun. I think out of all the Titans that I've drawn so far, I think Cyborg is still my favorite. I probably did the best on Starfire, but I think Cyborg looks the best. So let me know what you guys thought about the Cyborg drawing. And please, if you haven't, go ahead and check out the Robin drawing from last week. And if you like content like this, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I will catch you guys in the next video. And I'm out. Peace.